In this masterclass, we'll start from basics of HTML. I'll discuss with you what is HTML all about. Because this is a new initiative from my end, I will have a complete web series on the web development domain, and I'll include different topics in this entire journey, including HTML, CSS, databases, Bootstrap, jQuery, React.js. So there are different topics, or a bunch of topics that I'll include as we progress further. And I've decided to start from very basic stuff, that is introduction to HTML. Now I'll just try to keep this as basic as I can, because this is a very basic stuff that you can find on the internet. But I just try to make it easy to digest and understand these concepts, these basic concepts. And as we move on, we'll deep dive in and understand some advanced concepts. So these are the basic one. We'll jump over to intermediate, and then we'll just go to advanced topics. So what is HTML? Now, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is the foundation of all the websites. So the websites that we access on daily basis or on frequently basis, the foundation of all the websites is HTML, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Now, we'll just follow along this checklist so that we can stay on track and discuss all the topics that we intend to cover in this demonstration or hands-on session. Now, if you want to stay with me and you want to understand these concepts properly, make sure that you install the following packages. You can install Atom Text Editor. Now, some of you might be using your own text editor. You can go with that. Else, you can install Atom. Now, Atom is free of cost. Let me just open my browser and show you. You can just simply go to atom.io. So I just open atom.io. I will include this link in the resources section. So you can install this text editor for free of cost, whether you're using Mac operating system or you're using Windows operating system. This text editor is free of cost, and you can start using it on the fly. It's easy to use. It's enriched with a lot of features that you can make use of to enhance your productivity. And this is the text editor of my choice. You can go with this, or you can use the one that you are already using. So go ahead and install this text editor or install Atom. And then I'll just later discuss with you that what are different plugins that you have to install. So once you install Atom, then the next thing that you have to install is the list of plugins, some additional packages that you have to install within Atom. Now I'll open Atom. It's already pre-installed on my Mac machine, on Mac OS. So this is the iMac that I'm using to record this session. Now I've just opened Atom on this Mac, this machine. And if you're starting afresh, you will see that once you open Atom, after you install it, you will get this option, install a package. Can you see that? Otherwise, you can search for settings or go to Atom, click on preferences. Now, the options may change depending upon the operating system you're using. You might be using Windows. So you have to search for settings or preferences. Immediately, it will give you different options and you have to go to install. So we have to install some packages out there. And the packages that we need to install is this. So let me show you the list of packages that you need to install. I will show you the list that you need to go through to install those packages. So we have a bunch of list or a bunch of Atom plugins. So these are the Atom plugins that you have to install. Now the installation process is super easy and smooth. For example, I want to install Atom Beautify. Now this plugin is used to structure your code properly so that the elements are intended, or they are being structured, they are being laid out properly. So to beautify automatically, to ensure that the structure of the code is displayed properly, you can install this plugin. Now each one of these are being used for different use cases. For example, Emmet plugin is also used for autocomplete, and we have Pigments. So for example, if you use some color or you include some background color or font colors, then Pigments will automatically highlight, or it will just show you the exact color on the Atom code. So these are different kind of, you can say, plugins or the packages that you can install within Atom. And the process is simple. For example, I choose this one, Emmet. I copy it. I just go to search packages. It will search for the packages and I simply need to click on install. Now it's already there. So you will see this kind of button out there. Click on install. And once you click on install, for example, I can just go with this one, Emmet JSX PROPS install. And in the same way, you can install all the packages. So let me just show you the list of packages that you need to be installing. These are 10 different packages that you will install. I will include this list in the resources section. So there would be a Google Drive link or a OneDrive link, which will include all the resources for the exercises that we'll perform in this demonstration. So you have to go ahead and install all the 10 plugins one by one. I've shown you the process. You have to go to preferences, settings, click on install. You search for the package. You just copy and paste the package that is there in the list, and you search for the package and install each one of these 10 different packages. Okay, so let me just go back to the checklist. So we have discussed what is HTML. We have installed the package, the plugins. Yes, one more thing that you have to install is the Chrome browser. I know that most of us use this browser, but if you don't have this browser, please go ahead and install Google Chrome, because we'll be testing our web pages, our code on this web browser. Now, the next thing that we'll do is that we just create a separate folder on our computer and we just open it, because it will be kind of a project folder on our computer, and we'll just link it or open it on Atom. Now, for that, I open my Finder, or you can just go to any of the places on your computer. So let me just go to one of the locations out there, and I will just create a new folder. So let me just create a new folder. I just name it as, for example, web dev or web dev practice, something like that. You can just type in anything. You have to just name a folder, and that's it. Now this is where all my HTML or CSS files will be saved, and that's it. Now, once you create a folder on your machine, then what you have to do is that you have to open Atom. So I just open the Atom text editor from scratch. So let me just open Atom one more time. And I need to make sure that I can just open a new project. Yeah, so this is a new folder. So I click on reopen a project, and I can just click on add folders like this and search for the folder that I just created, web dev practice, and that's it. So this added on the folder to my Atom. Now, the next thing that we'll do is that we'll just add on one HTML file to this folder. So the next step, if I show you the checklist, let me just go back to the stuff. We have to go ahead and we need to add on one single file to this existing folder or the project. So we have to create a separate folder and link or open it on Atom. So we've already done that. Let me just check this off, and we have to create a separate file within that folder. Now, how do we do that? It's a simple thing. You have to go to the folder, the project folder that we have just created, right click and click on new file, or you simply hit capital A, it's shortcut. So if I just type in, for example, I choose it and I click on capital A or type the capital A on my keyboard, it will open up. I have to enter the path for the new folder. So I can name it anything. For example, I want to make it as a root document. That's index.html. Okay. And I press enter. This creates a new index.html file, in my web dev practice folder. So that's been done. So we have done the next thing. Let me check off this thing. Now we have to create an HTML boilerplate code. Now what is that? Let me show you. I think by mistake I might have created this as a folder. Let me just delete this thing. Yeah. So what you have to do is that just do it one more time. Right click on new file, and just type in index.html, press enter, and that's been done. So by mistake, I created a new subfolder. You have to create a new file. Now I have to create a new HTML boilerplate code. Now what's that? Now if you just type in HTML and press enter, immediately this is a reusable code that I'll be using. Now what's a HTML boilerplate code? The HTML boilerplate is a reusable template that is manufactured automatically. I can reuse it again and again. It's a unit of writing. It's a section of code that can be reused over and over again without any or little modification. Now, this is the HTML boilerplate code that's being created or manufactured automatically. Once you type in HTML, press enter. Let me show you one more time. So I just type in HTML and press enter. The HTML boilerplate code is being produced automatically. Now, you see a little blue dot on the top. Now, this needs to be saved. You just type in Control S or Command S on your keyboard, and this will be saved. Now, if you see this entire stuff, this is the document type. This is the HTML and the language, and this is the head tag. Now, head consists of, I would say, the title, the description, the meta elements, the information about the contents. For example, in the head, I can just type in the title of my web page. For example, let's type in my personal website or something like that. This is the title of my web page. I'll show you that how it looks like. So for example, I just right click on this one, and you have to just click on copy full path. So I copy the full path. I open Google Chrome. So let me just open Google Chrome. I already have Chrome installed on this machine. And I open the Chrome browser on this computer. And let me show you. Let me just show you exactly that how it looks like. So let me bring in this web page. I paste this path, press enter, and you can see that it displays the My Personal Website on the top, where you can see the cursor, my mouse. So My Personal Website, the title is being displayed. So you need to right click on copy full path, and just paste that on your Chrome browser, and you'll be able to see the title. So the head element, the head consists of title. It also consists of meta elements. Now, if you see over here, we have something called meta. Meta elements are the additional elements that describe some additional information. For example, in this case, it defines the character set. That's UTF-8, or it's Unicode. Now, this is a common encoding mechanism that we use so that if your website is being accessed by users from any part of the globe, so the international users can access your website, and the information is being processed, or your website or your HTML documents are being processed properly. They're being displayed properly. So meta element consists of some additional information, some metadata. You can include some more meta elements. Just type in, for example, META, press enter. I can include, for example, name. So I can just type in, for example, anything. I can just type in the author of this web page, and the content is type in my first space last name. I can also include a description. Let's type in META for meta, press enter, and I can just type in description. So this will include a description, and the content is that this is my personal website, something like that. You can include any type of content. So the meta elements, they provide some extra information about the contents being displayed on your website or the web page, and that's it. Also, you can include the encoding mechanism, and you also include title within the head tag. So you can see that this is the head, start tag, and the end tag, and this is the information that's included. Now, if you remember, I installed Atom Beautify package. Now, to make it to work into, or I would say to have the Atom Beautify come into action, I just go to packages, go to Atom Beautify, and click on Beautify. You will see that it automatically structures my entire code. Else, I can just type in this shortcut, that is Control Option B, and it will do the same thing. So you just type in Command S to save the changes that you have done. And as you can see that I've included the meta elements and the title in head. Now within body, you include the exact content that will be displayed on your website. This will include the display oriented stuff. So the body tag will include, or the body section of this HTML code will include the display oriented stuff. This is what it will include. Now let me just go back to the checklist and see exactly that what we have done. So we have created an HTML boilerplate code. We have discussed the differences between the head and body tags. So the head is used to include some meta elements, meta tags, title, and body will include the display oriented stuff. Now the next thing that we'll discuss is the HTML headings. We'll discuss the syntax and exercise. Now, headings are used to be included on your web pages, and there's a syntax for it. So let me discuss the syntax for the heading element. It's really simple. Now to include the heading or headings on your web page, this is the syntax. You have, for example, H1. This will produce the font, or I would say the biggest font size. So for example, I include H1. This is the start tag. I include the content. For example, I just type in, or I include hello world. Let me just include that one more time. And I close it. So this is the syntax of a heading element, or if you want to include the headings on your web page. So if I just label all the different attributes for this syntax, so H1 is my start tag, and this is the end tag. What is this? This is the end tag. So we have the start tag, we have the end tag, and this is the content. What is this? This is the content. So within the start tag and the end tag, you include the content that needs to be displayed on your website. Okay, this is exactly what it's all about. Now we'll just do one simple exercise, very simple exercise. I'll include that link. Basically, we'll be using W3 School's website to practice all the stuff. I'll include every single link in the resources section so that you can practice by yourself. It's a great website that I would recommend, because you can just go to their different web pages. You can just extract some important information. You can practice. There's some hands-on exercises. For example, this is one for HTML headings. I'll include this link in the resources section, or you can just go, you can search on Google, just type in HTML W3 Schools, and you can just get this page. Now you can see exactly what it's all about. HTML headings are titles or subtitles that you want to display on a web page. Now this is the example. You can click on try it yourself. This will open an exercise. Now this is the input, this is the code, and this is the output. Now we don't have to look into the input right now. We need to look into the output. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me change the display settings. And yeah, So this is the input, I'm sorry. This is the piece of, or this is the structure of the code. This is what we need to include on Atom, and this is the output. Now, H1 is the tag that will produce the biggest font size, and S6 the smallest. You will see that heading 1, it produces, or it has the biggest font size, and S6 has the smallest. So you go from the biggest to smallest. We don't have any heading element or tag beyond H6. Okay. Now I'll be simulating or producing the same output without looking into the input and show you that how exactly we get the output through the exercise that we do on Atom by itself. So I open Atom right now in front of you, and you can create a new file if you want, or you can just go with this index.html. Now in the body, just type in H1. Just type in H1. Either you press tab on your keyboard or press enter. Okay, so once I press enter, immediately I will get a cursor blinking in between. It will ask me to put in the content. Now I can just type in, for example, heading 1. Fine. And that's it. Now, similarly, I just type in H2. Just type in heading 2. The same thing. H3. Press tab or enter. Just type in heading 3. So I can just copy this content so that I don't have to retype it. So let me just type in H3 once again. So I mistyped this thing. So heading 3. So I'll also include H4 for heading 4. Then H5. Heading 5. And similarly, let's type in H6. That stands for heading 6. Or that's for heading, or that's the heading that will produce the smallest font size. Now, once you do that, to structure the entire line of code, just type in Control Option B, or you can just go to Packages, go to Atom Beautify, click on Beautify, and it will do the same thing. Now you will see that there's a blue dot at the top because this has to be saved. I just type in, or I just press Command S or Control S on my keyboard, and this entire code is saved. Now to test it, I right click on index.html file and click on copy full path, and I reopen my Chrome browser, and it's already there. Let me hit refresh, and you will see that it gives me the output that I'm looking for. Okay, this is the output that we desire. So this is how exactly the heading elements are being displayed on your web page. You have to include the H1 to S6 tag, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. We have the start tag, we have the end tag, and then we include the content within these start and end tags. So this is all about the heading element. And if we just go back to our checklist, let me just minimize this thing. So we have performed, or we have gone through the HTML headings, syntax, and exercise. On the right hand side, I've already discussed with you the syntax of it. Okay, this is a very basic stuff that we are going, or that we'll implement. But as we progress further, we'll go advanced and discuss some advanced concepts later on. Now, the next thing that we'll discuss is the P tag. Now, P tag is there to display paragraphs. Now, of course, you will not include just the heading. You'll also include the paragraphs to include the content. Now, the syntax is very simple. You have to include a start tag. So let me just change the color of the pencil. So this is P. This is the start tag. Content, for example, my website. I can include anything. Of course, if you have paragraphs, you will have lengthy paragraphs of multiple characters included on the website. But I'm just showing you an example. So we have the start tag. This is my start tag. This is the content of it, the actual paragraph that needs to be displayed on our web pages. And this is the end tag. This is the end tag. Let me just write it down once again for you. This is the end tag. So this is the syntax of the paragraphs, or the p tag that is used to include paragraphs on your website or the web pages. Now, to show you exactly that how it functions or how it's being implemented, what we'll do is that I'll reopen W3 School's website. I'll include this link. We'll be using this exercise. You can see that it says try it yourself to practice including paragraphs on our website. Now, you can see over here, the p tag defines a paragraph, and browsers automatically add a single blank line before and after each p element. So this is automatic. So once you include p element, the blank lines are included before and end of the p element, before and after each p element. Now I just go to try it yourself and just do the hands-on. Now we'll look into the output. Of course, this is the input. This is the thing that you have to implement, but we'll just practice it. So I'll just remove or just minimize the input, the code, and this is the output that we want to accomplish. Now, if you see this web page, this is the heading. This is the H1 heading, and these are 3 different paragraphs that need to be included. So let me open Atom from scratch, and let's create a new HTML document. Let's do that. Or I can remove it. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's remove this code. Now in the heading, I just type in the p element. Done. Now once I do that, I just type in p. I just press enter, go to the next line, type p, press tab, and I just copy and paste this text. This is a paragraph, and I just copy and paste this twice. I press Control Option P to beautify, press Command S to save this code, and that's been done. Now I just open my Chrome browser. Let me just do that real quick for you and show you the output. So I press enter now, and here we go. We got the output. So to include the text, the content, the paragraphs on your website, you have to include the p tags or the p element. Now, let's go back to the next stuff. The next thing that we'll discuss is the BR tag. Now, BR stands for line break, or this is the line break element. Okay, let me just remove the previous stuff so that I can discuss the BR or the line break. So BR is a self-closing tag. So let me just discuss this concept with you right now. So if we look into this element, we have this thing called BR. BR is for line break. So for example, you want to just include some spaces, or I would say you want to include the text in the next line. You have a bunch of text and you have to break the text in different lines. You use the line break element. This is the line break element. Now this is a self-closing tag. What do you mean by self-closing? Self-closing tag is the one which does not need an end tag. It should start with the start tag, but it should not include the end tag. So no end tag required or needed. You don't need the end tag. You just need to include the start tag. That's it. So there's no concept of end tag over here. It should start with the start tag or a simple tag, but there's no end tag. Okay. You include the BR element, the BR tag, to include line breaks. Now, as we have done before, I'll just go back to W3 School's website. Now, this is the link I'll include in the resources section. I'll just do that for you. And you can see over here, the BR tag inserts a single line break. It's useful for writing addresses or poems. It's an empty tag, which means it has no end tag. It's an empty tag. It's a self-closing tag. There's no end tag needed in this case. Now I click on try yourself, and let's try this thing out. Let's try this exercise, and let's see that if we are able to understand this concept. Now, it includes a heading element, and this is a paragraph with different line breaks. So let me just focus on the output, and let's implement it on Atom. So I open Atom once again, and I'll just remove, or let's do one thing. Let's change the heading 1 content. Let's type in, for example, the BR element. Done. And then I just type in the first line. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me just have only one paragraph, if I can just do that, and include a line break. So I just copy and paste the entire content in this one single paragraph just to show exactly that how it functions. So I'll just include this content in one single paragraph in front of you and show you that how we implement the BR element or include the BR tag from scratch. Okay, now the line breaks after force. So I just go to force, or I just go to the atom, this piece of this line, and type in BR, press, you'll see that it automatically shows up. So it breaks the line in between. Now I break the line after line breaks. So I can just type in BR, press tab. I'm sorry, let me just do that one more time. So just type in BR, and that's been done. So the line breaks. Then I will just do that after inner text. Okay, so let me just include the BR tag, and that's it. Done. Then use the BR. So after use the BR, I break the line, and that's it. Done. So you can see that I included the line break element in different places, and that's been done. I press Control Option P, or just go to Packages, go to Atom Beautify and Beautify. Press Command S or Control S to save this code or the changes that I've done. I go back to Google Chrome and hit refresh. And here we go. So you can see that I got the output. If I compare that with the output that we should get, it's the same, right? So we have included the line break element in between. So if I show you the same input showing up, so the BR elements are included within paragraph element to break the single paragraph into multiple lines. So you make use of BR element to ensure, as we have implemented on Atom, to ensure that you can include different line breaks within the same paragraph, because you might have a very lengthy paragraph, maybe of 10 lines, 50 lines, or 100 lines. Then you want to break the lines in between. You want to switch to the other line. So you have to use the break element, the line break element, to ensure that you can include some line breaks in a lengthy paragraph on your website or the web pages. Now, having said that, I just go back to this checklist. Okay. And we have discussed the BR tag. Then the last thing that we'll discuss in this conversation, of course, we'll discuss some basic concepts, some more concepts afterwards, is the HR tag. Now, HR stands for horizontal rule. So let me just label it for you. So this is the horizontal rule tag or the element. Now, this is like BR. It is a self-closing tag. So this is the syntax of it. You just type in HR, and this is the self-closing tag, which means that there's a start tag, but there's not an end tag. It's an empty tag. So no end tag needed. This is a self-closing tag. Now I just go back to my main browser, and let me show you exactly if I can open it. I just open this W3 Schools website. I include this link in the resources section. We'll just practice this exercise. Now I will encourage you that you do the same exercises by yourself, because if you practice by yourself, then you're able to understand the concepts I'm trying to convey or trying to deliver. I click on try it yourself, and this is the input and this is the output. So let's focus on the output. So this is the heading 1. Let me go back to Atom, and just while looking into the output, I'll just implement the same thing. I have to include this content in the heading 1 tag. So let me just copy and paste that in the heading 1. Let me just do it one more time. So you can just copy and paste this content, the heading 1, and this is the P stuff, the P content, the paragraph content. Let me just copy it. Let me just do it from scratch. I just copy and paste this thing, right? Now, after this paragraph, there's a horizontal rule. So I just type in, just go over there, just type in HR, done. And similarly, I include another P tag, and I just include this paragraph. Let me just copy and paste this entire stuff. You don't have to type it, just copy and paste that within the P tags. And as we can see on this output, we have a horizontal rule, or the horizontal line at the or after this paragraph. So let's type in HR, enter, done. Similarly, I just include another P tag. I just copy and paste this entire paragraph and include that. I include an HR horizontal rule element, done. I press Control Option P, press Command S to save it, and that's been done. Now I open my Chrome browser, or I can just right click on copy full path. I just paste this, press enter, and you can see that we get this exactly the same output. So these are the things that we have discussed. Let me just check these things off. So we have discussed all these things. So this is a kind of, you can say, an introduction session on HTML. Now, I am new to this domain. I'm not an expert on it. I know that there are multiple experts on this domain, but this is a new initiative from my end. I've given it a shot. I hope that I've tried my level best, or I've given you the best possible or the easiest way to understand these concepts. Now, you can give me the feedback on comment section. You can like the video. You can just give me the feedback that how exactly it went. Was it useful for you? Because as I said before, I'm not an expert on this topic. There are experts. You can find multiple videos on YouTube who can give you a very clear explanation on these concepts. But I've given my best shot to explain these concepts in a much easier way. I've explained the concepts as easy as I can in a much easier way. I'll include all the links in the resources section so that you can practice these things by yourself. Now, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much once again. Goodbye. Bye-bye.